Hello, everyone. Mr. Stu here. Happy Tuesday. Hope you're having a good day. Today, I wanted to review with you Kahoot questions on resource use. Okay, so these are the questions you did last week. I just want to go over the ones that a lot of us got wrong and are really important to understand. So yesterday, good job looking over air pollution. And I do have one question I want to fix real quick. Okay, so that was question one where which of the following is an example of air pollution? We said carbon monoxide yesterday, and we meant carbon dioxide. So carbon dioxide is really the most common and horrific pollutant out there. Okay, so just to review, we talked about air pollution from yesterday. We're going to be talking about resource use today, so we're going to be going through a bunch of questions. But please follow along and be sure to be like Kermit the Frog here and type in any questions or concerns that you still have. Okay, well, without further ado, let's do it. So question two, right? Why are coal and other fossil fuels considered non-renewable energy sources? So before you do anything with this question, define for yourself renewable resources and non-renewable resources. Okay, so why are coal and other fossil fuels considered non-renewable energy sources? Well, they produce pollution. They often contain microscopic animals. Well, that's true. They are no longer used by humans. They take millions of years to form. Okay, well, let's see. What did you guess? Here we go. So the answer is that they take millions of years to form. Okay, it's just like coal. Okay, now coal is not beautiful. It's actually very dirty and not good for our environment. Okay, and the reason that they are fossil fuels is even though they can maintain like little species over millions and millions of years that pile up over time, and that's the good stuff that we want to get for our oil, it takes millions of years to make those fossil fuels, folks. So we cannot have any other answer there but take millions of years to form, because that's the main issue. Okay, all right, question number three. We're going to be using this diagram here. And before I go with diagram questions, I always like to look at what we're working with. So we're breaking up into almost, better 1/3 maybe of just oil. And then hydropower, nuclear, other. So not too much of the renewables. Coal, remember it's not beautiful. And then natural gas. Okay, so the question. Which two energy sources from the pie chart below provide more than 50% of the energy needs in the United States? Okay, we're looking at more than 50%. So is it nuclear and natural gas, oil and coal, hydropower and oil, natural gas and coal? So folks, this is just reading this diagram. Okay, so slow down, read the diagram, the answer's right there. And here's the answer. Okay, so oil and coal, we're looking for more than 50%. So let's see, oil and coal, that is more than 50%. That was a softball throw to you. Okay, wait, why? Well, we use so much energy, and oil and coal from a long time ago is super easy to get from the natural land, burn up, and use in our homes, power our cars, heat where we live. So these two right here are the number ones. Okay, but notice when we get into more renewable resources, there's much less. And hopefully someday this pie chart changes the way it looks. Okay? Question number four. Moving water in a river is considered a renewable resource because so when I think water, does it get used like gas and get burned up and never, come back again? I don't know about that. But is it renewable because it carries dissolved oxygen easily? Right? Well, that's not necessarily true. Erode sediments, well, that is true. Is made of natural gas. Is water made of natural gas in this sense? I don't know. Can be recycled by nature over time, right? Recycled. I see a word here, cycle. Okay, when I think cycle, I think water cycle. So the answer to this would be that yes, it can be recycled over time. So why, you may ask? Because water is this system, and right here you can see kind of you have this water, it's running off with heat, it evaporates, then condenses right over here with this cloud, and then rains, and the cycle continues. So water in a river is a renewable resource. Okay, question number five. Ding, 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 ding. We got a diagram. First thing you got to do, look at the diagram. Then you gotta look at the question. Identify one activity in the diagram that requires the use of fossil fuels. What activity requires the use? Okay. All right. Do you think this requires fossil fuels? You think that one does? Moving cars? I don't know. We'll see. Okay, and here's the answer. We took a bunch, right? Driving a car, grilling, using gas or grill, or driving, right? So these have to be we got to focus on the action, right? Oops, sorry. So driving the car, the movement, and the fuel needed to power that engine and that vehicle was essential. So we took any of those, okay? All right, number 6, which human activity would help reduce the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere? What would reduce carbon dioxide? So CO2, we talked about it yesterday with air pollution. So here are your options. Decrease burning of fossil fuels, increase human population, decrease the number of recycling programs, I don't know about that one, increase the number of cars being driven. Okay, so what do we do to decrease CO2? The answer, decrease the burning of fossil fuels. Folks, that is what is really going to help us out, right? Decreasing the burning of fossil fuels. Maybe it's less driving. Maybe it's finding more natural ways to, and more renewable ways to do the things that we do every single day. But we really need to stop burning fossil fuels because that is what will directly lessen CO2. Okay? So, number 7, the hydraulic cycle. We talked about this earlier. What process makes clouds? So, sublimation is the process of ice moving to liquid. Okay, ice moving to gas. I'm sorry. Sublimation is solid, so the ice moving to a gas, evaporation, liquid to gas. Condensation, okay, particles starting to pressure together, and precipitation is that liquid rain. The answer, condensation, and that's in clouds, okay, right here. So part of our water cycle, right, moving back, sublimation is when ice is going to gas, evaporation, liquid to gas, and then it condenses to make the clouds, and then it rains. Okay, so the answer was condensation, which is a big part of that natural resource and renewable resource of water. Okay, number 8. What process uses the most water? This is a really cool question. What process uses the most water? Having a pool, washing your car, meat production, or taking a bath? Like these things, generally do use a lot of water, but what is the most? Okay, and here you go. Here you go. Meat production, folks. Meat production. Look at all those chickens and cows. So this is, for the most part, where we get our meat, milk, eggs, and chicken in places like these. What do all things need to live? They need water. And all these millions of cows and chickens, so meat production takes up so much water to not only have the cows drink, but to water the plants that feed all these animals. We are literally cutting down forests to make room so we can plant food to feed cows. And maybe we could just eat the food we're planting. That would help. I'm not telling you to be vegetarian, but hey, meat production uses the most water. Food for thought. Ha ha ha. Okay, number 9. The diagram shows ways in which groundwater is affected by humans. Okay, which statement is best supported by the diagram? All right, so you have a home, you have buried toxic waste by your home, that's not great, and you have chemicals added to the soil by farmers. Yikes, lots going on. So, how does this affect our groundwater? Well, you tell me. Chemicals applied by farmers lower the level of pollution in drinking water. I wonder. Drinking water can become polluted from unsuspected sources. No one sees this, right? We don't really think sometimes about what people are putting in the ground. Human activities do not affect groundwater, or toxic waste is safe if buried below basement level. I don't know about you. I don't want toxic waste anywhere where I'm living. But let's see your answer. And the answer is, drinking water can become polluted from unsuspected sources. So look at all these unsuspected sources. We don't know if sometimes some toxic waste is in the soil. We don't know what is being put out by farmers or even by accident, okay? So some of these things can really pollute our water. Next up, number 10, pesticides and fertilizers can help farmers to produce more crops. However, Overuse of these chemicals can result in ecological succession, environmental pollution, material recycling, selective breeding. Okay? So I'm going to say that the ones we really want to focus on is ecological succession. So maybe that's a environment moving along naturally, right? So over time you have small shrubs, you have a larger trees, and you have this forest, and this forest turns into a hardwood forest, and it's beautiful. But do pesticides and fertilizers help that? I don't know. Or environmental pollution, right? Is it just us sometimes that pollute the natural world, or is it some stuff that we do to help our crops that are actually polluting our world? So, for example, the answer is environmental pollution. Look at Homer Simpson, right? Maybe it needs more fertilizer. Oh, geez. Well, folks, the fertilizers that we put out on some of our crops can be really harmful to us, and that's one problem that we have with huge mega farming. But some ways that groups and even locals can fight with this is using healthy crops and treating your soil well. Okay? Question 11. Urban growth and uncontrolled waste disposal by humans most likely results in conservation of fossil fuels, if we're talking about growth and development, environmental decline. So the environment is not getting any better; it's actually declining. Improved soil conditions, or a balanced ecosystem. So, what does urban growth do in this situation? Here's the answer: environmental decline, folks. Environmental decline. All right. Now, why is it environmental decline? Well, it doesn't conserve fossil fuels when we're having urban growth and limited disposal. This actually would decrease soil conditions, and it would actually unbalance our ecosystems. Okay? All right, question 12. Many cars today are designed to get better gas mileage than those made in the past. This change resulted from a need to recycle materials, produce chemicals, improve safety, or conserve resources. Maybe another question with this is, why should we build cars that are recycled or has lower fuel emissions? Why do that? Well, it's going to be one of these answers, okay? And the best answer for us right now is to conserve resources, because to think of all the resources that go into a vehicle, or all the resources that go into some of the ways that we use multiple things, well, if we could conserve resources and be smarter in different ways, like the Tesla, that could really help, okay? All right, you have finally made it. Great job reviewing these Kahoot questions, team. Be sure to check in tomorrow. It's Earth Day, or not tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow it's going to be Earth Day. It's going to be an excellent day. So we're going to have some cool activities for you to do. But good job with this work. Have a great day. Stay safe, and be sure to type back with any questions you have. All right, see you later.